I sprinted here in my Phantom Menace pajamas because I had to talk about the first 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew. I'm Real Slim Katie 25. Let's get into it. First off, if you're here trying to decide whether to watch it or not, save this video to watch later and go do yourself a favor and watch the first 2 episodes. Even if you don't like it, it's Star Wars. I know everybody just loves to pile on and bandwagon and shit on everything that Star Wars has ever produced since it's been taken over by Disney, but just give it a chance. But if you want to be a sweaty incel and stay behind your computer and shit on it without even watching, go ahead, be my guest. That being said, I am going to talk about spoilers and Easter eggs, so really, if you haven't watched it, come back later. First off, I want to start by saying, holy shit, all good Star Wars starts with combat, in my opinion. Even the, weirdest, whatever your opinions are on the movies, can we all agree that Revenge of the Sith starts with the most epic flight sequence? Can we all agree on that? And episode 1 starts out with an amazing combat sequence of a ship getting taken over by pirates. We'll come back to that later. But even in this first scene, it came in with amazing lighting and atmospherics that got me super, super excited. We are quickly introduced to Wim, who has the coolest room of any child I've ever seen, and his best friend Neil, who is apparently not the same species as Max Rebo, as pointed out to me on TikTok. Wim is a daydreamer who wants to become a Jedi. Neil is an anxious, fun-loving best friend. And then we meet Fern and KB, whose exact relationship I don't quite know yet. Getting into trouble, riding on hover bikes, having a blast. The next day, after all of the characters have been nicely introduced to us at least once, we see that Wim is late for a very, very important exam and gets into trouble by using a stolen hover bike and accidentally stumbling upon what he believes to be a Jedi temple. After a heavy reprimand, he comes back from the long day, grabs Neil, who's taking a bubble bath, while his siblings are watching Jedi Cocomelon, which is shockingly reminiscent of the Star Wars Holiday Special. If one of you guys commented dead ass that that's actually, pulled footage from that, I'd be like, yeah, that tracks. Because I don't know it shot by shot. I only watch it every couple of years. I like to minimize the amount of time that I have to remind myself that Chewbacca canonically has a wife named Paula. I will take that time and live in solace. I will. Anyways, Wim and Neil go to explore the Jedi Temple, but not before finding out that Fern and KB have gotten to it first. And then they dig it out. Very fun shenanigans here. They're playing up a great dynamic when you're getting to know these characters. I know it's been said already, but very reminiscent of Stranger Things, putting the kids first. It's a delight. I think that's where a lot of the recent Star Wars series have failed us completely, because you don't have buy-in for the characters. Even Book of Boba Fett, and I care about what happens to him, I didn't have the same charm and endearment that I want to have. And man, this episode really tries to tell you on charm and endearment. They uncover the Jedi Temple to find out that it is not a temple, and due to Wim's inability to not push a button, understood, is a starship. They take off. End of first episode after they blast into hyperspace. Great cut to first episode and a seamless transition to the credits. Chef's kiss, chef's kiss. But although the first episode is super charming, what makes it really interesting is episode 2. Episode 2, they get out of hyperspace to come to find that the dead droid that they had seen earlier is here, alive, and coming for their throats. I also want to mention that Andrew and I got into a quarrel during episode 1. He's like, dead droid. That's not scary. It's not a skeleton. But for these kids who have been taught by droids their entire life, droids are their teachers, people they look up to, their mentors. That's a fucking dead body, my dude. That's a dead body. So imagine the horror when you see a dead body come to life. Charming turn of events. Fern convinces the droid that she is the captain now. The droid has never heard of their home planet at Addons, which honestly sounds like a fake ass name. Where are you at right now? I'm at Addons. Duh. So he's never heard of it, so he goes to take them to a starport. A starport that they come to find is full of pirates. Full of them. Pirates who want to take advantage of the credits that Wim has in their shoe. When the pirates find them out, SM-33 comes to bail them the fuck out until they get thrown into the brig by the furry from the first episode. The furry, I'm sorry, I don't know his name, so I've just been calling him the furry. The furry who originally called mutiny on the lead pirate who promised them gold and wealth of credits. So he's now the head honcho. He throws them in the brig until we meet Jude Law. Jude Law, who promises to save them if he can be guaranteed safe exit out. with them on their ship. Turns out he's a Jedi, or at least he's Force sensitive. I don't know. He can move a key with the Force, so that's good enough for me. Also, running theory is Jude Law the pirate from the first episode that we see outcast. We don't really see him without his helmet on or his mask, so it's very possible that he's outlawed and that's why he's in the brig. That's what I thought. I could be totally wrong, and I'm prepared to eat my words on that. Let's get into the good, the bad. I was gonna say the ugly, but I don't think there's a lot of ugly in this. Honestly, screw it. I don't want to talk about the bad. There's not a lot of bad to talk about. Honestly, feel like I can't judge so much of these episodes until I see where the story is fully going. But as a 2-episode premiere, this got me so excited. And I don't want to get my hopes up too high because I've seen plenty of shows where the 2-episode premiere is great and the rest of the show just doesn't deliver for me like The Acolyte. My biggest problem with The Acolyte, though, was that the characters, I didn't have the buy-in for their care and well-being. I didn't care so much about what happened to them that I had to keep watching. But I already have this for Skeleton Crew. So I'm very hopeful. Plus, Neil, Andrew and I were talking, we're like, is it practical? Is it CGI or what? Because there's a couple shots, like when at the end of the first day of school, when Neil's running back up to his house and his ears flop. And I mean, it swear to God, it looks so real. But then Andrew pointed out the movement of the trunk. I mean, there's no way that a lot of these shots are just too good. They're too good to be practical. So maybe they're, throwing in some practical shots to really trick us into buying into the CGI, which honestly looks really, really good. Not to mention the practical puppet, or Muppet rather, in the second episode who helps transport them from their ship to the starport. Also, doesn't that guy kind of look like Salacious B. Crumb? No? Just me? I don't know if the mic picked that up, but Zora agrees. Also, the big reveal in the second episodes is obviously that Addins is not real or presumed to be a myth by all of the pirates on the starport. When Wim brought out the credit to give to the Salacious B. Crumb knockoff, and he reacted that way, we're like, is that old money? Like, what's weird with that? They're like, oh, from the Old Republic. I'm like, Old Republic? They haven't seen the light since the Old Republic? Can you imagine literally not knowing? It's like sleeping through COVID. It's like sleeping. It's like if you slept through the war on Afghanistan. Like, hello? That's crazy. So we're like, maybe they're Amish. Maybe they are Star Wars Amish. But then obviously it's revealed that this is some false place of imaginary treasure, unmeasurable wealth, which tracks because look at their homes. Also, we only know that this is after the fall of the Empire. So this could be 50 years before episode 7. This could be 5 years before episode 7. It's hard to say. But can you imagine how much time has passed and not knowing that? Also, seeing the wealth that these kids grow up in and knowing that not that far down the line, there is still absolutely insane disparity, even just seen with Rey's scavenging in episode 7. That's kind of, Andrew did point out that that's very similar to On Earth, how there's lots of different wealth disparity between different countries still today within our own planet. But it's still crazy for me to think about. Anyways, case in point, I think these 2 first episodes have been delightful. I'm trying not to get too excited about it because Star Wars sometimes ends up breaking my heart completely. But I'm excited to see where this goes. It really is charming. It really is Star Wars Stranger Things. And I'm fine with that. Hey, Zara. Anyways, what did you guys think? Do you want to keep watching? Did you like the first 2 episodes? Let me know in the comments down below. Plus, if you like what you're doing, feel free to subscribe and see what else we got coming out. Bye!